watching X-Men Omni with Justin and John. And their good friend, Hank. Hell yeah.
I never get tired of that, Bobby. I never get tired of it. Hello, welcome back to Omni X-Men. Call it whatever you want, Chris Claremont, but you're in the seat. You're here for it all. We are working our way through Chris Claremont's epic mutant saga. We are now way deep into the New Mutants era. We are on volume number 1 of New Mutants, working our way through some classic stories here. And I mean, me and this guy.
Ew.
What is going on, Santa?
Yeah, I had to get a little festive here,
I see you. I chose to remind everybody that I'm still on the Professor Xavier the Jerk bandwagon.
That's the priority right there.
That was last week's theme, and guess what, folks? Just gonna keep going tonight. We're gonna. I was a little.
If people missed the last episode, pause this one real quick, right?
I'm just saying.
Watch a little bit of.
I even had to clip it and post it again.
Yeah, I love that you did that.
There's some moments there. Sometimes the truth just will need to come out in all of its glory. It did last week over on Justin's channel for issue 13.
All that truth serum you were drinking.
It was a lot. I'm drinking only water tonight, but I'm still feeling honest.
That's good. That's good. Your chode cup there.
Hydrating and yeah. But yes, I'm excited to continue. This is the last show we've got before taking a little hiatus for Christmas.
Yep.
So hopefully folks are hanging with us tonight, getting on the victory wheel at the end of the night so that you can win prizes when the season finishes, because we'll be taking a little break and then coming back on January 7th.
Yep.
So
Yep.
hopefully everybody is ready for that when we get back around. Let's bring our guest in, because I know he doesn't have any thoughts about Professor Xavier. We got JP.
What's up, fellas? How's it going?
Good to see you, man.
I'm, hanging out, having a good time. What are you guys doing?
Nice.
We're talking Storm, right?
All Xavier all night.
You're all night. I'm going to admit something just for a second here.
Uh-oh.
You guys know that I'm solidly in the camp of Cyclops is the worst X-Men.
Yeah.
Okay.
After having watched a few of these shows and now read New Mutants, which I've never read, someone wanted to argue that Chuck is actually the worst X-Men. I might not resist too hard.
It's this guy. It's right here. It's this guy. You don't have to go far.
Just saying.
Closer than you think.
Professor X is the worst. I might not completely agree, but I might not argue.
Yeah, it's valid.
I just think, you could throw him into that bucket of characters who are just not consistently written well. And I think that's the challenge of an Xavier. Is there's times when I think he's written really well, and then there's what we're reading now.
And it's the same writer.
Yeah, it's true.
It's true. Let's jump in. Let's say hello to the chat a little bit before we come back around and learn a little bit about JP.
Yeah.
We got Tailgater Extraordinaire in here about 8 hours ago. Las Cruces. James.
He's on it. He is always on it.
That was up. But only 2 hours later, we got Ruben Guzman.
Nice. Cowabunga.
What is going on, Ruben? And then back and forth for a few more hours before JP, just before we went live.
Nice.
Apologizing for being the guest tonight. We got Matt Clemson. What's going on, Matt? How you doing, Matt and Clemson?
What's up, Matt?
We got Lasso. He's saying it must be JP's fault starting late. What?
Well, it's not. They were talking
pretty
about
close to on
something
time.
else, Lasso, and specifically excluding you from whatever that was. But,
Yeah, that's probably true. That's accurate. What is up? Adam is in the chat. I hope he's making some good stuff up. We got Gordon, the D&D extraordinaire. What's going on,
Nice.
Gordon? Appreciate you, sir. Conlin Comics in the chat. What is going on, my good sir? I believe he's coming up on your inner. What isn't he?
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, 10:30 for Origins. Looking forward to it. Yeah.
Matt's wondering about the grape juice. No grape juice tonight. No need. It's not needed. Not needed. There's apple juice in there, not beer. Okay, fine. Candace, what's going on? We missed you.
Candace.
Hope you had a great vacation. Very much deserved.
Nice.
Let's see here. We got Jackson Roy Kirk. How you
There he
doing,
is.
Jackson?
Mr. Roy Kirk.
Let's see. Yes, definitely worth the rewatch. Candace last week if you missed it.
Oh yes, take the
There
time.
was
Indeed.
multiple rants that were worth it.
Yeah.
I hope Chet's wearing a flak jacket because there's a lot of stray bullets flying around tonight that he may want to dodge.
I don't plan on bringing that person up anymore tonight. We're going to shoot at Chuck, and there's going to be a lot of them.
He might appear. We'll see. Donnie is in the chat. What's up, Master Don? He does a lot of great discussions around music. If you're a music aficionado and not following Donnie, you're missing out on some good stuff.
True.
And I think now we caught up on everybody. Yes, Comic Collector Origins is back.
That's right.
What is it?
You better catch up.
Back for a little while. There's been multiple.
It has, yeah. I think this is 3. Is this 3?
It's like the 5th episode, 6th episode.
Oh, geez, I've already lost track. What's wrong with me?
Because I thought it was one of the 3, but I didn't think it was 6.
So if anybody is unfamiliar with JP, I don't know how that's possible because he's easily crushing Justin and I combined. He's actually a functioning, interesting, valuable YouTube channel.
That's right.
He's the one managing it. He also just started channel memberships. You could become a Robin, a Titan, a Nightwing, supporting JP. So click the link down below that I've got for Jason. Sorry, God, we got all the J's here.
All the J's.
Don, Jason, Justin.
Triple J.
And make sure you're subscribed at the bare minimum. Catch him live and then join the crew over there. All right, JP. Obviously, New Mutants are really new for you. You're coming at this from a very new perspective. From what you've read so far, who is the standout character for you?
I will admit I haven't read all of it that you guys have been talking about. I've missed a few of the episodes. So I think for me, I'm trying to
Nobody's going to hold your feet to the fire.
He's in the hot seat.
Yeah.
The only character I had any knowledge of or any attachment to before this was Magic.
Okay.
In terms of she's the only one I knew hardly anything about. None of these.
Well, good that you're on tonight's episode because she's finally showing up.
Tonight's episode was like, oh well, that's a character I at least know something about. So I'll do an episode that Magic's a part of. So that was why I picked this when you were giving out the numbers. Probably Danny, maybe, but it's I think that's probably the one that I'm enjoying the most. She's the one that comes across to me at least. Is we've gotten a chance, and again, I haven't watched every episode, so I haven't read all the issues, but she's the one that comes across to me as the one that's like really struggling with more so. I don't know. I'm connecting more with her struggle of controlling and understanding her powers and stuff than some of the others. Some of the others are just you talk about Cannonball being like the Cyclops, and it's just like he's got the fake bravado going. That is So I don't know.
More compassionate.
Yeah, well, that would take nothing to be more compassionate.
An ounce of compassion.
1 ounce. Would be better. But.
What's up? Kenneth Bird is in the chat. What's going on, sir?
Yo,
Gordon says you're doing way better than Whitewell Comics. He's just really proud.
Whitewell doesn't make any content anymore.
Every Sunday he's trying to do that. Jackson Roy Kirk says, "What? I thought reading and watching all the issues and episodes was a requirement for being a guest."
No,
it's not. It's really not. We don't. There's nothing valuable.
No, it's not part of the contract.
Then outside of the New Mutants, are you more of a Deadpool or more of a Cable fan from what you've read?
Oh, more of a Deadpool with a caveat.
Okay.
Is that he gets at times they write him a little too crazy. I want my Deadpool crazy, but not Looney Tunes. There's a that distinct. You know what I'm talking about. But Cable, I'm sorry, Cable, I believe is a Summers, which means he sucks.
But I feel like I respect his daddy issues because Cyclops is.
Who could blame? Who could blame him for having daddy issues? Good grief.
Right.
But, yeah.
Right.
But yeah. But it's all he's a Summers. He sucks.
We got Lee Comics in the chat. He was doing a great live stream I was in while I was at work. I was working. and listening to Mark talk some good talk. Okay. Okay, you're going. Do you think that the Deadpool choice is in play because of the movies? Do you think that has an impact a little bit? Does Ryan Reynolds have any impact?
Oh, I was a Deadpool fan way before that.
Okay,
like my first was his first solo series back in the 90s. I had and read originally the Joe Kelly Deadpool series in the 90s was my first real exposure to Deadpool. So yes, so that was where my enjoyment. Now I think Ryan Reynolds for the most part walks the balance as well as any like thing does in terms of the crazy and the like, but being actual somewhat real, like in terms of, so I think the movies do a great job of walking the version I like.
Okay.
So I was a Deadpool fan before those movies.
I think you'd like the Remender X-Force, Uncanny X-Force with him because they use him just the right amount.
I read that.
A little bit of Deadpool goes a long way. Like,
really I read that series very begrudgingly because it was like, oh, it's got Angel, it's got Deadpool, it's got Psylocke, and it's got Logan. Like, I don't know that I want this book. Like, it's like they just put a lot of the characters that I feel like, can overspice any recipe. And they put all of them into one. It's like, oh man, this dish is going to taste horrible. But it's Remender balances it beautifully. Great. And I never thought a book with all my least favorite characters would also be so phenomenal. And that's a shot at Logan. He's not that bad. But the other three can absolutely carry that torch. We got Steve White in the chat. What's going on, Steve? Good to see you here, sir. Steve. Appreciate you. All right. Well, then I guess last question, because you asked it early on. Like, if you had to follow someone into battle, are you following Xavier or are you following Cyclops?
I mean, I think he's still.
I mean, you might as well. Like,
he's like, there's no battle.
No. Where's Storm? Where's Rogue? Give me a team leader I can actually follow. Like,
you're stuck. You got.
I'm going home.
You got Chrome Dome.
No.
You got one eye. What are you going?
I'm not getting caught in that situation.
Neither
I show up and it's just those two leading. I'm out. No, thank you.
Jackson Wood Kirk's like, I'm joining the other side.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm clearly on the wrong side of this battle.
There might be a friendly fire incident. I know.
Great call.
There might be a friendly fire incident if they're leading, if they're out in front.
Gordon's like, Cyclops, he knows where the estrogen is located. Hey-yo. We got Bobby De La Ghetto in the chat. I played his little intro at the beginning. Shout out to you, Bobby. We got Christina Payne already dropping links in the chat. I hugely appreciate Christina.
You.
Always doing the good work in there.
Whoa.
Chris Lopez asking for, who are these X-Men that you talk about?
We just
good to see you, Chris.
Mutants.
They're not really in this book.
They're new. Yes, the new mutants.
The new.
All right. Well, then it's time to dive into the episode or issue we're reading tonight, issue 14. But as a reminder, if you stick around to the end and make fun of Cyclops, it's possible you'll get on our victory wheel. So just hang out and crack some wise by the end of the night. Okay. So we're going to get kicking into this, though. This is New Mutants issue 14. We are obviously connecting some dots tonight. For those that don't remember last season, we read the Storm and Illyana miniseries called Magic. And in that, we get to see how Magic aged from being a kid into a teenager, how she gained a lot of abilities, and sort of the really traumatic experience that she went through. So this issue, for those that are unsure, really connects us back to now she's back in our world, and what is she like now? If you don't remember those issues, that's fine. It's a really great miniseries. You should check it out if you can. But of course, you can watch the replay. It's in our playlist from last season if you want to check it out. So, Justin, I'm going to throw it to you to talk about the cover a little bit, but I hope you were excited to see Sim and Magic here on the cover of this, returning to our Omni X-Men.
Yeah, I mean, knowing now who Sim is, thanks to the previous Magic, miniseries that we had read, this, I get more excited for seeing this cover, and just the addition to the team member, from where we've been so far as well. I'll tell you, Tom Mandrake. I don't know. I've said this before. Like I know who Tom Mandrake is. I've seen him at shows before. I didn't really know his work up until we kind of started, running into it here in these last few issues. And this is his cover. I mean, cover work wise. I mean, a lot of it he's been doing. He's written as the finisher in a lot of this stuff. But
right.
As far as the interiors go, but this is his cover, and I really like the subtleness of like the detail and in the background of basically of each of the characters, even though they're much smaller, and Sim is more of the highlight in this whole thing. I still really like the detail, like Danny down at the bottom there, and just like I feel like I've never really taken the time to look that closely at this cover until reading this now and realizing that like half the team is getting beaten. Like, I mean, Cannonball getting hit in the stomach, Magic looks passed out, like what's happening? You just kind of seen, I just always recognize Bobby to be at the top, just wailing on him from the shoulder. But it's really, it's pretty wild. So I think, this still does a great job of just pulling you in. I think prior to knowing who Sim was, it was a little less just because I was like, oh, who's this random, purple monster? We go from purple robots to purple monsters now. But now that I kind of have more of that history with it, I definitely have much more appreciation for, this villain and just seeing the team trying to do whatever they can to stop him. So, I mean, I definitely recognize this cover for New Mutants as one of the few I feel like that have ever really stood out to me. So that's, I guess, another factor to it, but never knew it was Mandrake until I really, took a closer look. So,
sure.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, and I'm not super familiar with Tom Mandrake either, so this has been a bit of a learning, refreshing of my mind, realizing, because when I read these as a kid, I wasn't thinking about, who Sal Buscema drew this. Like that stuff didn't register with me. So
right.
The adult lens, it's been kind of fun to connect artists to the pieces in a different kind of way.
Yeah.
The chat's awesome. Chris is asking questions about Demon Baron so quickly. The chat replies and lets Chris know. So you guys are so informative.
I can't believe we're on 14 already.
I know, right? We got JP's link in the chat too. Christina's dropped JP's link so you guys can subscribe over there. And for some reason, Magic Lassos, but I mean, I don't know what's going on. The truth is, I'm on Lasso's channel tomorrow night, same bat time. So there you go. That might be the reason. For some reason, Sim makes me think of Alf possessed by the devil. I mean,
that's pretty accurate.
Yeah. And Ryan says he can top Cannonball on the
he can stop.
He can stop Cannonball on the cover. That says something. Be ready, right? Be ready. All right. So JP, what are your sorry, get out of here. What are your thoughts on this cover for New Mutants?
I think this is one of the better ones I've seen you guys talk about so far in terms of this run. I think it's does a good job of getting the whole team in there in a position that actually makes it like sort of makes sense. I will say Sim's position is a little awkward.
His body pose is definitely odd.
I'm not sure exactly what he's like. It's just a little weird, but
he's jogging.
It's a solid cover. It's not a great cover. It was kind of how I put it. Like I don't have any major complaints, but it's not one that I'm like, oh, that's a fantastic cover. You know what I mean?
Sure. And I think that's about where I am. For a long time, I thought that Rain was his tail. And then I was like, no, that's Rain. That's Rain. That's not part of his costume or anything. That's Rain. I thought he had like a fur he was wearing or something. But no, I will say the cover is dynamic, even if Sim has a very awkward body positioning, doing his ballet, as Jackson says, doing his stretching. But let's dive in and let's see how the story goes here. We start off with a bit of a recap. We're getting to learn a little bit about Magic. She has this unusual amulet. She's concerned about the bloodstones on it, and when there are all 5 in this amulet, apparently there's some destiny that she is going to be living out. She's very worried about what it means, and of course, the concept of Belasco, this devil who claims power over her, is sort of at the forefront of her mind right now. While she's back with the New Mutants, she also feels very much alone. Her best friends would be obviously her brother and Kitty Pryde, neither of whom are around right now. So she's just feeling a lot of fear and isolation. And then it starts to snow, and apparently most of the New Mutants aren't super familiar with snow, and it snows fast because it goes from what looks like a desert to a snowy mountaintop within seconds. And then, of course, all the New Mutants jump out there and they start playing in the snow, including Amara, who is a newly joined member of the team coming from Nova Roma, and she's also feeling some of the same emotions that our friend Ileana is feeling. So, Justin, as we dive back into the story of magic, what were your thoughts here on this intro?
Yeah. So first, the splash page, I really appreciate because it's very different, very bold. The background being as bold as it is, just stands out in compared to a lot of the ones that we've seen, throughout the series, really, and just in general, I guess. But on top of that, do you believe in magic? Love the title. Brings us right back to, again, if you've never read the Magic miniseries or kind of know Belasco and that story, you definitely should go check that out because it was fantastic. I really enjoyed it, and if you're a fan of magic in any sense, like that's something that I think anyone should read. And so this was a nice way to kind of recap that, just give you a little catch up if you did miss it. Gives you a little explanation of kind of what's going on without too much detail over just the course of some of the panels, and then kind of re-highlights the team. Only it kind of highlights the team in her perspective. I thought it was interesting. She says Roberto, like, he's cute, he knows it, like just kind of like recapping some of that, but again, based on kind of how she views it. And I think there's a big moment here that's kind of throughout the book but it starts here, and it's in that middle page, the bottom couple panels, and it's really her own thoughts on kind of questioning like who the dangerous one is, whether it's Belasco and his demonizing world and everything he stands for, or is it her? Is she potentially the danger in all this? And I know we'll touch on that more down the road, but like that's just the first little subtlety that kind of got my attention of like, oh yeah, I guess I never really thought of it that way. And you just assume that Belasco's the bad, the danger. But we don't, what else is she capable of? And at this point she doesn't even know, but she feels, that there's something deeper there that's kind of scares her. So just something that I wanted to point out, because I know we'll touch on that a little bit more detail down the road. But yeah, I like the start. And
she's obviously even questioning her own life here a little bit. JP, I don't know if you realize like how weighty it is on her, but she even says something like, well, hopefully one of us will die. Like she doesn't really seem to be caring which one of them. It's almost like to be free of this curse, right?
Yeah. So, and I will ask, like, just from a standpoint of, has she interacted with these characters before? Because she was a little girl, she disappeared, and now she's back. So as
far as I recall, no, she's not.
That's what I thought. And that was my impression, but I was curious. This is kind of her first impressions of these guys, and we kind of get a little bit of their first impression of her. But in terms of, this is just thinking back to that Magic miniseries, this is a kid that went from 6 years old to 13 years old in a second of everyone else's time, but in basically live a hell, being trained by a demon. So she's coming back, and she's questioning whether it's a good thing that she's back, or that she survived, or that she's here at all. And is she a danger to these people without even meaning to be? So you see her very contemplative and, not yet sure of her place in the world that she's returned to.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. And then as they're playing around, Danny catches Amara somewhat wistfully looking at the snow and makes Danny feel like, oh, maybe I could give her a taste of home by giving her something that she would like to see, and creates this palm tree. And for the first time, we see Amara happy that someone dug around in her mind and did something for her. It was an odd reaction.
Again, without permission.
Yeah, right. Obviously, for Ileana, she's having trouble enjoying any of this. Yeah. And we get this panel that I had.
I'm so glad you made this.
I had to blow it up. I had to blow it up as big as I possibly could. That is Professor Xavier creep staring us down, just absolutely giving her the evil eyes. And then the best part about it is the very next panel is the New Mutants, and they're saying, "Look at the professor."
They're all terrible.
One of them they're like, dude, he's like
possessed or something.
Yeah, Sam says he looks like grim death.
Yeah,
like, okay, okay, gang, we were truthful last time. Like
there were no lies detected last week, John.
There was no lies, and there's
no
come
lies.
on. Did you have to like Sal Buscema? Like, did you have to go this hard? Like, I don't know.
Yes, I mean, read his thought bubbles. Like,
Yes.
he is being a awful creeper here. Like you ranted last week. I'm going to rant just a little bit.
You do it. This is your moment.
Do it up, JP.
You ranted last week about how he was like, I would never go into your mind without permission. Right after he literally did it, and then kept trying to do it after that.
Yeah.
And then here he's like, try as I might, I can't penetrate her barriers. He's not trying to talk to her to get her to open up about what happened.
Right.
No, he's just trying to force his way in.
Cook.
And he's mad. And he's sitting there staring at them all angrily and creepily because he's mad because he can't get into her head. He can't do it without her permission.
I would never break into her mind without permission. Why can't I break through her barriers?
Again, what I said at the beginning of, like love is the worst, but if you want to argue Chuck, I'm not sure I can actually put up a fight.
Yeah. It's so bad. Yeah. And Candace is like, it's Professor McCreepy at it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's not all that we've got here. Obviously, the team is trying to find a way to lighten the mood a little bit and have a little levity. There's a little playing in the snow and laughing and giggling. And we get the lurking sim in the background there at the end. So I don't want to skip over some of that stuff. No. But for me, it's all about this Xavier face. Justin, what were your thoughts when you turned? Sorry, was there more, JP? You want to get into more?
I was just going to say, you were talking about the team, and I love how the team, you talked about last issue, Amara, ready to leave, and then he does something creepy, and then she's like, okay, I'll stay. But they're all noticing that he's like this, which leads to a lot of what their plan is, that he's very sour, and I don't feel like they've noticed that Magic or that Ileana is though, and maybe because they just don't know her, but that she's kind of isolating themselves, although they do try to include her here, but
right. Some great comments. Ryan says he should not be saying penetrate. Just don't say. There's a better way to say it. There's just a better way to say it. Aggressively Alaskan says Professor X watching a neighbor let their dog poop on his lawn.
Oh man, that's great. So many great memes you can get.
Okay.
I mean, for me, it's also it's like pure Scrooge bah humbug. It just feels like I'm gonna take the last bits of coal away from my employees. Callie says he looks like the kids aren't in enough danger.
Well, I also love that he's like, she never told us precisely what happened. Could it have been so horrible? She was there for 7 years.
7 years. It's trauma.
In limbo for 7 years.
13 or whatever it is she is now.
And still doesn't bother to talk to her. He's just
I can just talk to her.
My way into your mind, your traumatized mind. That clearly something happened enough to make her have strong enough psychic barriers that he can't get through.
Right.
And yet he's like, I'm just going to force my way in. I'm not actually going to talk to you.
I'm going to sit here a little longer and just see if I can get in.
The kids are having fun. Damn them.
Look at them.
Velasco, the creepy guy in the free candy van. I mean, the neighbor's been training the dog to poop on his lawn. You guys are hilarious.
If I was Professor X's neighbor, I might.
So yeah, Justin, thoughts here on Xavier and the kids?
Yeah, so JP, you're spot on with everything here, and John too. This was over the top with just trying to wonder, why is he not doing anything more than what he, just trying to use his powers and get into her head. And I love the artwork for it, because it really just for how he was especially painted last episode, it's just spot on for how he should look. So I wanted to highlight a couple things. First of all, you mentioned snow in the first couple panels, and in this one, this is perfect Christmas holiday episode.
Yep.
I just wanted to point that out.
Yep.
Anything with snow, I'm just like, yep, that's a holiday comic. That's great.
It's fair.
The other things too. So little moments here where Karma or not Karma,
Danny.
No,
Amara.
Where Amara gets the Danny shows her the tree, the trying to bring her back to a better place and make her feel a little bit better. And there's these little comments of is this your doing? If only you knew what happened under that tree. And she goes, okay, what? And she's like, ask Roberto. She goes, I think I'll kill him first. I love that they're like growing these characters
wobbling already.
This direction. Yeah, and like Danny's like so, we saw a little bit in last issue. While she was barbecuing, and she's like very annoyed with him all the time, but she's kind of attracted to him and she hates it. So I like that kind of keeps up. I don't think we ever really saw what happened with Amara and what she might be referencing, but I think it's hilarious that was said. Sure. The other thing too, I feel like I'm glad that they took the time in this issue to show Ileana struggling in how she is. And these panels that are next to JP down at the bottom, you really would think like these kids are trying to have fun. They're trying to play. And here's this girl who, as JP said, 7 years of her life in hell. And she's just back now. Like she's just, it's still pretty dang fresh. How could anyone smile? How could anyone carry on with life or joke or talk about TV or anything else other than like needing some serious
trauma,
help? Yeah. So I like that.
If only she had a compassionate, caring adult leader nearby to take care of her and walk her through this challenge. But no, she's got Ebenezer Scrooge staring out the window, thinking of ways to
break your mind. I'm not going to talk to you, kid. I will
learn you.
Compassion runs deep.
So I like that we're getting a lot more of that. She does highlight that Kitty Pryde is like the one true friend that she has met throughout this short period of time. So a nice little reminder too, because again, for those maybe that aren't really reading the X-Men series or things like that, you wouldn't pick up on that stuff. So I like that we had that bit in here too, especially coming off of an issue with Kitty Pryde in it. And then the whole thing. I mean, the rest of it, it's just all kind of fun and games. They're talking about Amara bringing up the whole Lilandra scene from last issue and why he might be upset is because he's missing his girl and all this stuff. And Roberto's what? Like, no way. He's got a girl. Like, I can't picture that. So I love that. Like a sweetheart, really?
Like old people have relationships.
Yeah.
Which in Chuck's case, I could understand the ooh.
And then they decide the solution to Chuck's depression is to throw him a party, and that they're gonna skip out to meet with Stevie Hunter and try to make that happen. So we jump to Stevie's ballet studio, and the students show up and they say, hey, can we skip ballet tonight and instead go get a bunch of cool party favors and food and stuff, and then head back to the mansion and make a special dinner for the professor? And they're like, oh, that's a great idea. But as they're about to leave, Doug shows up and he's like, hey, I'm looking for Kitty Pryde. I got something important to tell her. Is she around? They're like, no, we haven't seen her in a while. Maybe she'll be back later. And he's like, okay, I'll catch you in another time. And he takes off. And then my favorite part of the sequence is they're driving down to the mall. And as they do, they drive by a section that was a setting for a previous issue in the series. And I love Bobby's reaction. Man, they're still rebuilding? We fought the Sentinels. I didn't figure we did this much damage.
Yep.
It feels like a kid who spilled milk all over the kitchen and then went and ate their cereal without cleaning it up. And then you bring them back later and you're like, do you see this? And they're like, oh, crap. Somebody needs to clean that up.
Yeah, that milk is still yet?
He's whining about how slow it takes to rebuild something they just totally trashed, which made me giggle. But then, they go through the mall. They're buying their things. There's a little bit of Sam Rain drama as Sam is trying to show off and carry all the groceries, but he's also bumping into Rain, and she doesn't really care for that. So they're just kind of like scrolling along, and then they meet some friends from a previous issue that Rain had known from before. So let's go to the mall. JP, what are you? I guess JP last time. So Justin, what's your thoughts here on the plan of going to the mall?
First of all, we get my main man Doug. He's back for a glimpse.
Not the last time.
Not the last time. So them going to the mall. The main thing that stood out to me was just seeing Rain and Sam kind of going at it there. Clearly, some tension between the two of them, and they're really continuing to not talk it out or anything like that. So the other thing was Sam always being the gentleman, trying to carry everything. When they meet these other two from the mall,
Amy and something.
Diana. Yeah, Diana. Yeah, so this is where I was confused because she says, "Where are you
Diana,
from?" Yeah, she says Amy. Diana says, "Where are you from, Amy?" And I guess she's referring to Amara.
Amara, yeah.
But like,
Who got Amara's name wrong?
Who just nicknames somebody the minute they meet them?
I don't know, Justy.
yeah, that's right. It's just like, wait. It's a little weird. I like reread that panel. So I'm like, wait, Amy, wait, is the girl's name?
Who's Amy? Yeah,
one of the friends Amy. There's literally no Amy. I was like,
there's too many blonde girls here. I can't figure out which one's Amy.
Yeah. So that kind of threw me off. But anyways, yeah, and agreed about the Roberto part. It was great.
Some good jokes going on in the chat here. Xavier had better not tell the kids to use their words. Emotional damage. There's some emotional damage happening here. There's no Magnum PI in hell. That's what makes it hell. Yes, John is pointing out a good fact that Limbo is technically not hell. They're very different. So, important. He is a party guy. He's fun at parties. Let's see. Stevie invited herself to the party. She doesn't. She's the only one of these jamokes with a car. So she's the one that drives them around to get all the stuff. They're basically asking her to pay and chauffeur the whole thing. Yeah, so in that way, they're forcing her into this.
We want to have a party. Can you do it?
No gas money, nothing. They don't.
So JP, what are your thoughts here as we continue our trip to the mall?
I mean, like the sequence where they're talking, he's talking about the mall not being fixed yet. It's just like the lack of self-awareness, and then the lack of self-awareness of Sam. He's so busy trying to impress everybody because he's got to carry all the bags and all the stuff, and it's like that he is actually alienating his teammates and his friends because he's not actually being thoughtful. He's just like, oh, I'll do it all, which reminds me of somebody else. I'm big enough.
No flashbacks, JP.
So,
well, let's just continue along here. We cut away for a quick second, and we're back at the mansion. And Xavier feels like he's sensing something odd, and he goes to wheel himself around to see what it is. And it's Sim, and he tries to use his mind powers to stop him, but Sim just is like, I will slap anybody. You don't care that you're in a wheelchair. I'm going to knock this guy out.
He gave him the backhand. He didn't even give him the front. He just backhands him.
He's going to slap around a guy in a wheelchair. I mean, that is cold. I agree. And then the team arrives back and they're like, okay, we got to sneak this in without the professor knowing. And then they're like, wait a second. I'm not catching any of his creeper into my mind vibes. And he's not answering the phone. This is all very odd. What do we do? Yeah. And Ileana's like, I'll go in first. I'll look around. He can't read my mind. You guys just wait out here. So she sneaks off while the rest of the team's like, this doesn't sound like a great plan. But that's all we got. It's what we got. So, JP, what are your thoughts here on beating up a guy in a wheelchair and sending in the new girl to solve the problem?
It's like he actually knew what kind of teacher he was. I know. like he actually knew how he treated his students. Like, I know what you've been doing.
Callie calls it the Sim bitch slap.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna say he deserved it, but
I'll say it.
Yeah.
And then as for the kids, I mean, I get it. They're like, oh, he didn't answer the phone. So they're a little worried, but they're more worried about him finding out they're surprised than about what's going on.
Yeah.
Which for teenagers makes total sense. But I do like the fact that Ileana's like, yeah, he can't read my mind. She's just going, and the rest of them don't even question that. Or like, wait, really?
Yeah.
Like they don't
Let's
even
send the new girl with PTSD. Let's send her in.
Yeah. All right. We don't know anything about you, but we just found out this fact that should be very surprising. And it's like, okay, go. Yeah, sounds good.
Jackson says karma is catching up with Chuck pretty quick right there. Justin, any thoughts here on Sim laying the smackdown and the team having to return to the mansion not the way they expected to?
So I laugh every time I see a picture of Sim, like this one here. Actually, all three of these panels here. It looks the horn that's on his head. It looks like he has like a little bit of a faux hawk or like comb over, and it's just like a gel. Yeah. Like he looks like a stylish monster, like he's like oh wow,
50s like greaser.
Yes, a little pomade or something.
Well, especially with the vest and everything.
Yep, and the tidy whities. He's got tidy blueies,
the green. So the other thing I was going to point out with this was it's interesting that Amara points out the fact that that Ileana reminds her of Selene. And she's getting those vibes, right off the bat of just like
evil sorceress.
Yeah, like I the same vibes I got from Selene, this evil chick, like that. I'm kind of getting that same thing from her.
Yep.
Everyone else is like, no, she's not like that. Like, but even though they don't know her,
you don't know anything about her.
Yeah. And Roberto points it out. He says, "Can we be certain of that, Stevie? Sometimes even for the X-Men, he says sometimes even the X-Men seem afraid of her. So little things that he's observing too, that just like." She's like, she can come off scary. And I don't know if that's like just an aura. I mean, part of it's just she's so quiet and kind of away from everybody all the time. And, understandably with everything she's gone through, but I just wonder if there's even more to that, but I just find it interesting there that Amara kind of picked that up and was comparing her to Selene.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love that comparison. It's fantastic. Ileana sneaks in. She's wandering around, wondering what's going on. This is definitely something is afoot here. She turns the corner and Sim just grabs her, and he's just got before she can even use spells or magic, she's basically overcome with horror. And in that moment, falls down to use one of her abilities sort of in a reflex, and that is to create a dimension door. And she basically creates this circle around the team out in the snow and transports them through limbo into the living room. The car, the snow at their feet, and the new mutants are now right there next to her and Sim. I dug that. I thought that was a really cool visual of a dimension door and kind of what her abilities can do as far as teleportation goes. But Justin, what were your thoughts on Magic so quickly responding, but at the same time, almost she faints. She's overcome in this moment.
Yeah. So I'm with you. I love this moment, and it hints at it in the book, See Magic issue number 3 from the miniseries. And I don't know if you guys went back and looked at it at all, but I just flipped back, and it is word for word and moment for moment on this side. And Sam and all of them, Roberto, they all say in that far panel from my hand there is they say the exact same thing in that exact same glimpse. And then even afterwards at the bottom of this page, she's like, oh, like they seem like they know me. I don't know those people though.
Yeah.
They seem like they recognize me. Going back to that and reading this, after we've read that,
right.
a little while ago, so cool to see. And again, they do word for word that one panel compared to the center one.
Yeah.
Across the way here
In limbo. Yeah.
Just like, Danny, Sam, that's Ileana. Bobby says it can't be, Roberto. Oh, no, Sam says it can't be Bobby. She's too young. Like those exact words, and her laying there. Like, I just thought that was really cool. And to be reading this, if it was at that time when it was coming out, to just kind of get that crossover. I
love that you pointed that out, because I would not have known that. That's cool.
Yeah, it was a really neat. See that, just like that made me want to go back and just reread like a lot of that other. So I did flip back, and it was cool to read afterwards. Cool. Her little reaction in limbo, saying like, those people recognize me. I don't really know who they are. They seem like they knew me. Like but so just like now that makes even more sense, because reading that, issue 3 back, when we did a year ago, whenever, it was a little out of context, and technically that came out first. And it says in that book, it says, keep an eye out for this book. So for anyone, they technically would have this experience to see this and then flip back again and kind of, pick all of it up. So it's a cool way for, the way, Claremont tied all that back together. I thought was really well done.
For sure. Some good comments in the chat. Callie's saying that Stone Cold Steve Austin got his wrestling attire from Sim. So there you go. That's didn't know that at all. There's also comments about the teleporting car and from the dorm room as a college prank once. Yeah, that's a good way to do it. And I do agree, a pompadour. That's the hairstyle that he's going with there. I get that.
It is.
And hopefully you can limbo very low, Bobby. Keep it up. So JP, obviously Magic fan that you are. Kind of cool to see her using her powers by instinct almost, right?
Yeah. And, it's interesting to hear her, like the whole book is coming from her. Like she's giving you all the like background over the narration of this particular story. And I thought it was really great that she's like, I forget exactly what she says here. I'm going to look on here. Like when she see like, oh, he sent him to punish me. And like, I know that I could have taken care of him but I just like the trauma and everything else. She just freaks out, and like just basically like I need help, and instinctively pulls these kids that she just met to help her, and and so and then we don't see how they get the car out later.
Yeah, it's good.
It's the least of the problems in the living room of the X-Men.
Yes, yeah.
Which does make for some good comedy here in a little bit.
So, but I just thought it was impressive how she's freaking out and like doesn't use her magic, but her mutant ability doesn't fail her. That she actually can use, like that she uses that almost subconsciously, whereas she would have. Consciously, she's failing to use her magic abilities that would actually like help her defeat him.
It's still natural instinct, that kicks in.
Yeah, totally agree. Well, then the team jumps right into action. The team is like, we are gonna take on this guy, and Sam's like, oh, I'm just gonna roll this sucker. He goes flying up, bam, and just falls to the ground. And then Bobby's like, I saw what happened. I'm just gonna run up and smack this guy. Yeah. And he gets smacked to the ground. And then the girl who turns into a dog is like, you know what I'm gonna do? I got an idea. It's crazy. Outside of the box. I'm gonna run up and try to bite this guy. And she gets smacked back to the ground. At some point, somebody needs to just think, right? And that's Danny. Danny's like, geez, guys, we've been training as a team. What are you doing? I'm gonna make his greatest fear come to life. And lo and behold, it's Belasco who appears, and Sim is instantly thrown into horror and shock, and he lets go of magic. And when he does, that's when Stevie decides, you know, I got to get Illyana out of here, runs in, grabs her, and pulls her away. But while she's doing that, she notices an unusual thing. Belasco sort of warps in and out of shape and turns into a sort of somewhat of a blend between Illyana and Belasco, this sort of devil Illyana, and a sort of creepy, oh, what is it that Belasco really wants? Maybe there's some connection going on here. So in that way, Stevie learning some truths about Illyana that maybe none of the other characters really knew here. So let's JP, let's talk strategy.
Strategy, what's that?
Yeah.
But I mean, when you have such a great teacher as Chuck, that like of course you have really good strategy when you like go into these. Like think before you leap, all these kind of things. I'm sure he's taught them that while he was like trying to penetrate their brains and not actually communicate with them. Right. But yes, it's like, all right, Cannonball, the leader, is like, oh, I'm just gonna fly at him and knock this guy I know nothing about over. Like, no, like trying to figure this out initially, like have anything. He just flies in and gets repelled, and then the next two are just like, it didn't work for him, but it'll work for me. And even Rain is like, well, this didn't actually work for the other two, but I'm gonna.
She even says it. Yeah,
this is dumb.
Yep.
It's dumb.
I thought it was funny, but it's so frustrating in some ways too, because you're like, okay, look, Cannonball's got one gimmick, right? He's got one thing. I'm gonna hit stuff really, really hard.
Yeah.
If he just bounces off and the guy doesn't even move,
that should tell you something.
Like Bobby. Yeah. Team up here. Like, let's work.
Learn.
He's like, nah. And I get it. He's a hothead. But then we get over to Rain, and I'm like, girl,
but
you're
Rain
just a
is
dog. You're just a dog. Like,
and then Rain even says it. She's like, she's like, this is a bad idea. I'm doing it anyway.
Just so many questions. So many questions.
And then Danny's
at least Danny has an idea, right?
Yeah. Danny at least thinks about what she's gonna do. Thinks before she leaps, unlike the other three. But she's like horrified by what she does. Like she's like, because she doesn't really probably even know who Belasco is or any of this. She has no background here to have any clue of what she's like creating. And then we get, of course, a glimpse of Darkseid. We get a glimpse of what Illyana can become if things go the wrong way. Yeah. And so, but at this point, I don't think, because Chuck doesn't even know what happened to her. I don't think anybody knows this except for Illyana herself. Potentially. Yeah. So.
And now Stevie Hunter, apparently.
And now Stevie, but she's not completely understanding what she's seeing.
Right. Right. So Justin, when you're reading this and you see the team sort of dropping the ball so hard here, but I for me, the highlight of this is artwork is really strong in some of these. You look at the like slap and the word was whammo in the back, and
love that.
Another backhand.
Yeah,
the backhand.
He's got to move. He's got
one move, but it works well.
The sim slap is a rough counter. You got to watch out for it.
That's right.
And then all the smoky stuff with all the Belasco and the great lighting. Any thoughts on the artwork here? Because I feel like Buscema is crushing these pages.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Love the artwork. Love the backhand. Just seeing the dream of Belasco coming through the smoke and everything, and him towering like a genie almost or something. And to see Sim running for his life in terror. And then, the flashing of, seeing Darkchild and the Dark Lord mixed in together. Really, even though it's Belasco's nightmare, it's very much anybody's going to be terrified from that stuff. So,
right.
Kind of scary all around. I wanted to point out, so I do feel, out of all the bad decisions that were made here from this first page, I do feel that it's less on Sam. I mean, I think even if I was in Sam's shoes, that no one took a crack at it yet. He's taking the first shot.
It's his only move.
To what he knows,
it's all he can do.
Knows, from what he's learned, even through the training and everything else, he's unstoppable. He can't get hurt. So I'm just gonna do it. But I agree. Like everyone else, if you see unstoppable Sam's abilities getting stopped, then come on. Like Roberto should. I mean, like you said, he is a hothead. He reacts quick. So I guess that's part of.
And he does get one punch in. It looks like he does. Knocks.
It just doesn't even. It just doesn't phase him. Yeah. And then Rain, that was just kind of a waste. But I was excited to see Danny kind of do her thing and team up with. I know we'll get more into that, but with Amara too. So that was cool.
This is a good comedy going on here. Jackson White Kirk saying, "This is a bad idea, but I don't have an adult to teach me any better." So, and then Adam says, "In my defense, I was left unsupervised."
I do like the Jackson's also making the reference to another early '80s classic teenager with Raven and Trigon here, because you did.
Yes, I saw that too. Sorry, I go back up. Yep, yeah. Little Teen Titans love there.
Mm-hmm.
So the fight goes on as Stevie steals Illyana away. That's when Magma decides, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make a volcano in the middle of the mansion and pour molten lava on the demon. I'm going to melt.
How does she not burn the house down?
I don't even know. It's because it's pink lava. It's a different kind of lava.
Green mountain, pink lava.
So
it's like bubblegum.
My favorite part of the whole sequence is she's like, "Look, I did it!" And she runs over to tell Danny, and then tap, tap, tap on her shoulder, and there's Sim just going like, "You suck at this, girl."
A demon that's used to hellfire. Let's put fire on him, because he won't be resistant to that.
And I love that we don't see what he does to any of them. He just taps her on the shoulder, gives her the growly face, and we jump to Stevie Hunter, who's trying with a bad knee to get Illyana through the mansion. And then the elevator they're in starts to get hoisted back up by Sim, so she jumps out and messes up her knee even more. She doesn't get halfway down the hall when all of a sudden there he is, Sim tracking you down, trying to get his girl. And lo and behold, Illyana wakes up. She ain't happy. Justin, any thoughts here on the volcano in the living room?
Yeah, that was quite obnoxious, and I'm just thinking about the damages being done to this living room alone. And yeah, I mean, it's like an odd. I mean, look, they're working together. This was kind of what Danny had quickly thrown together just for the two of them that's left. I'm curious if they all work together, how much better that would have been, or what else they could have come up with. But it's still an odd trick for Magma to make this thing appear, and then she just sprays the guy, and just I don't know. It's all a bit far-fetched, but
it's kind of how you wonder, Iceman is fighting crime in New York and yet leaving these giant ice slides everywhere that are slowly melting and landing on everybody's cars. What? How do you just go about your day after that?
Totally. Yeah. And this thing's, I mean, there's steam, there's smoke and everything else. So yeah, the mansion's done. And then, I mean, Stevie, I like that they point out, we're kind of reminding, she's struggled through. I mean, really, the past couple of years, I feel like we've kind of known this about her knee issues with that. She still is able to teach dance, but she's never the same of what she used to be. I like that they kind of hinted towards that again as she's, trying to run away and pick up Ileana. And then, just like the comeback kid, just she's waking up and boom, and we get into some really wild stuff. So that was cool.
So just JP, any thoughts on the destruction of the mansion? I know you're like, let's just make the man pay for more of this.
I mean, I get that your powers involve lava.
I need to make a volcano to have my power work.
Amara, I'm not sure Amara is really made for indoor fighting.
Not at all.
But
when they're protecting that priceless museum gallery, they don't send her.
But she can summon it. Like, am I wrong? She can turn herself into it and summon it on her hands and stuff. She doesn't have to make a volcano.
I think we've yet to get to the stage where she's been trained at the school.
Okay. Well, yeah, because the professor's too busy creeping on everybody. But I love that it's bubblegum pink. It makes no sense at all. Yeah. But yeah, she's so proud of herself, and it lasts 1 second. It's it's wrong.
Candace says logic went out the window. I mean,
And then I really like the sequence of him pulling the elevator back up, but then how does he get down there and but yeah, I like that there is the ongoing that they don't forget that Stevie has she can't just run with her, and that they keep that thought thread that there's that connectivity in the story in terms of her trying to get away with Ileana. But but Ileana's awake and not taken by surprise, so she's going to remember how to do stuff now.
Yep.
and not going to be quite as easy as the other teenagers.
And Bobby's giving you a sports ball reference here, so enjoy that. I'm just going to keep going.
Go sports.
Yeah, Ileana is awake and she is not holding back. She first tries to use magical energy to tie Sim up. That doesn't work. She then blasts him with blue steel. That's not going to work. And then she whips out the soul sword and is like, look, I'm not playing with you anymore. And instantly, Sim pees his pants. He just gets down on his knees. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do it. I'm just going to, please, I'll do whatever you say.
He's a punk.
And she's like, okay, you work for me now. You're mine. And he's like, oh, I could do that. Can I kill this black lady? He's, no, you work for me now. Don't just murder. We don't murder people. Stop murdering people. And Sim seems a little disappointed that he can't kill her. And he's like, fine, I'll go back to limbo. Suck. And as a last parting gift, Ileana's like, ooh, I'm gonna flashy thing Stevie so she doesn't remember any of this stuff and take away her memories of the last 15 minutes. So that she doesn't remember any of the stuff about Ileana, but she can remember about the volcano in the living room. I don't even know, JP. This is a wild sequence of events here. What are your thoughts on Ileana coming into her power?
I will say that it was for me, and again, Magic being the only character I have any attachment to, is it was fun to see her powers. And I do like that, so that the others don't look like complete losers, that she struggles with him just a little bit until she has to pull out her main the soul sword and her main kind of weapon to get him in line. But it's very clear that she is much more powerful than anybody around her at this stage.
Yep.
And yeah, he just when he realizes, oh crap, she's gonna get serious with me. But I'm trying to figure out what his plan was from the beginning. Because she had already whooped his butt in limbo and thought she killed him, or had to have mercy on him. It's clear he's not really there for Belasco's purposes. So why was he hunting her? It didn't make a lot of sense to me what he was trying to do.
What did he think was going to happen, right?
Yeah, and then she's like, "You work for me now." And he's like, "Well, that makes sense because you're the heir to Belasco. So yeah, I should work for you. That's right." It's just
so he's not the sharpest blade in the drawer.
I mean, yeah, maybe it's just Sim is dumb, but it's why did he come?
Definitely.
Unless it was just to draw her out and make her take that role.
Me big dumb Sim. Me fight, but not know why. Okay, on your side now.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he was like actually seeking her out to be like for this to happen. That was his goal. I don't know, but
maybe.
And then like Stevie is flat out freaking out. She's like, "What? Yeah. How can you do all this? What have you? Yes. What are your powers? What have you become? What?"
Yeah, I almost used the Men in Black. Yeah, I almost used the little Men in Black flash.
The Men in Black one.
It's legit when she's like,
the sun
you don't remember anything.
Weather balloon and swamp gas.
Exactly.
So,
Justin, any thoughts here on the Soul Sword and Stevie and all the stuff going on?
Yeah, I mean, to JP's point, she is way more advanced than the rest of the New Mutants. It's interesting to just like put that into perspective and moving forward, even knowing, yes, she's still learning as she goes, and there's still a lot, to master in that regard. But like her abilities are, very, very, very powerful. I love this scene of her at the top next to you, John, of her even just like using her power to have to get, kind of zapping him there. It looked like a cool battle scene. As far as like, and this is where like I remember Sim being like, I felt like this made sense in that Sim turned around so quickly and was like, "Oh, yep, no, you got it. It's all you." Like just from like what we read and from what I can remember, like I remember Sim not really being a challenge in that regard, and so he was always like the secondary character and always just like kind of flipping like this. But JP, you have a good point. Like it is really odd to this, the grand scheme of this issue of what it is about and what the point of Sim is. Like if he was sent by Belasco, like I just feel like Belasco's a fool to think that this henchman of his could just, go ahead and do this work for him or find her or whatever.
It worked better this time.
Yeah, like it just flipped so easily. So like, I don't know, for like shame on Belasco, I guess is what I'm getting at. If he really thought that, or if he did in fact send Sim, unless Sim's on his own here, and that was just some reason that he showed up on some plan of his own. But from what we had learned from the beginning, it seemed like it was a plan by Belasco, and this was all kind of laid out from him. So very, very odd. And then which panel I was trying to find which panel I forgot that she erases like her mind.
It says at the very bottom in the yellow there, with my words go a minor spell, and then you go to the next page.
That's what I said.
On Stevie's memories, so that all she remembers is that my mutant powers, my light circle teleportation field, saved the day by sending Sim back to where he came from. My sorcery for now is a secret I'll share with no one.
Yeah.
So it's just it's these two little boxes up here that explain it.
And I remember reading it, and then I was just looking, but I was on the wrong page. I was still back one.
Yeah. We jump to the next page, and we get the mutants returning. The X-Men, a little cameo from the X-Men, and they come into the living room to see a party with a volcano and a car in the living room. And Xavier seems pretty stoked on it overall.
Good job, team.
It's the happiest we've seen him in this entire issue.
I mean, maybe Sim hitting him like knocked some sense into him.
Maybe. So the team just decides to join in, and Xavier decides, you know what, maybe I should bring some joy to these kids' lives and help them with their trauma. So he wheels himself over to Illyana and then says, "Hey, let's dance." And they're like, "He can walk! Holy cow!"
I have a question. How long has it been able to do this?
Since returning from space, he they'd given him the new body after the Brood issue, and he hadn't
been faking.
No, he just hasn't.
He's been recovering. It takes a lot of mental strain for him to maneuver. And in fact, the next issue in the storyline, I think is issue 180 of the Uncanny run. He is struggling. Yeah, it's the one where he plays basketball and he's like struggling to walk.
Okay. I wasn't sure the timing here. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Whose life
best party ever.
I mean, I can only imagine like Logan and Storm and then walking in and seeing a car in a volcano in the living room and going, another day of next.
And Xavier's walking again, and they're like, all right, this is really happening.
All
right, so then JP, how are your thoughts on the way this all wraps up?
I mean, it's we never seen like what Sim did to him, but he was obviously like there for Ileana, so maybe he just knocked him out or whatever. But he seems to be taking the volcano in the car pretty well for a guy that at the beginning of the issue was like, "Damn kids having fun," you know.
Right. I mean, when you're in a clone body, I think a lot of things seem trivial. You know, when your entire psyche is put into that clone body.
Now that you're saying this, I remember.
It's a Festivus miracle.
But I mean, I love the look on Rogue's face in both of those panels.
Yeah.
Like her confusion at what she's looking at.
Yeah.
Like, look at Logan's face too, with the one next to you.
Logan's face in the bottom panel.
He's giving the people's eyebrow.
Like just fantastic. It's just like, what?
Oh, that's so good.
Like the others go in that second panel. The others mostly go to happy, like, oh yay, and then Logan and Rogue are still like, what the
not having it.
What happened here?
Yep. So good. Justin, any thoughts here on the party and how it's going?
One more thing before Justin goes. I just want to say, and his big I'm going to reward them I'm going to make this teenager dance with me. Sorry,
I mean, it's a very good point.
Yeah,
you know how I'll bring her out of her funk,
me, little girl.
Yeah, I'll make this creepy old ball dance with you. That's a solution.
He's like, maybe that'll distract her, and then I can penetrate her mind.
Stop saying penetrate. Stop saying it. All right, sorry, Justin, your turn, buddy.
Kitty Pride. What's she wearing there? What is that? That's she's rocking the all green hoodie.
I feel like you could ask that in any issue that Kitty Pride has appeared in up to this point in the comics. What's she wearing? Damn it, girl, what you wearing?
Big time.
Yeah.
I like that Amara is like sitting on the rubble of the the burnt lava or whatever that is. She just got like feet up and just kind of chilling there.
Bobby's climbing the mountain.
Yeah, there's a lot to take in with this picture. Ileana's still in the back, kind of being quiet to herself. But yeah, you got the car just chilling there, and Sam is happy. It's just a great scene of her. And yes, it really does remind me. I mean, I mentioned like a Christmas episode, that looks like the tree. It really is like, I like that you have the gift there for that, because
I had to.
It definitely just kind of resembles that nicely. So
sure.
Good times.
A volcano in the living room. This means something. Logan's like, what's going on? I haven't started drinking yet.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Fair.
I love his reaction.
Well, let's get to the very last page. The last page is everybody's having a good time, and there's a creeper out the window, and it's apparently something they're very accustomed to at this point. It's but it's Doug this time, and Doug's like, "Hey, Kitty, I'm so glad you're back. Hey, I got to tell you about this great new school I'm going to. I want you to come check it out with me because you used to go there. It's the Massachusetts Academy."
No.
And Kitty's like, "Oh, you mean the Hellfire Club?
Don't do it."
And that would be leading into issue 180 of the Uncanny X-Men. So those of you that remember that storyline and some of the stuff that goes down between Kitty and Storm as they confront each other and the changes they're going to and how that is affecting their relationship. And when we read that at the time, I remember Justin being like, "Oh, so we're missing a whole plot line with Kitty here." Well, now we're getting that. And really, this is the crux of kind of what made us want to do this, was because we're getting the other half of some of these stories. In this particular case, there was a plot line dealing with Kitty and Doug infiltrating the Massachusetts Academy that we didn't really get to see. And it's going to be playing out in the New Mutants issues that we will be reading this season. So I didn't know, Justin, if you had any thoughts of like, oh wait, no, I totally remember this now.
Yeah. So, and I'm glad that you have this, the cover of 180. I actually, after I read this and just moving forward in the omnibus, I just read through a little bit of 180 just to get a refresher on some of that. And the basketball scene and everything else. But it makes even more sense and just kind of connects the dots to the conversations that Kitty and Doug are having at the the table, and him again kind of talking about, I got into this school, I'm going to this school, and she's like, trying to figure out how to either stop him or go with him, and trying to stop all that. So that's also one of the episodes that Colossus cuts down another tree. Kind of what he does, Is that,
How can you keep track of all of those?
I was gonna say, flipping through 180, like, man, that was such a great read. Just there's a lot of great Storm, storyline to that too, with her in the garden and these old people that she rescues that are terrified of her. Anyway, it's just if you missed that, go check it out. We'll have to throw the link up later or something.
And it's in this omnibus, so if you are reading along with us in your own omnibus, you'll be able to just continue on through. Yes. JP, I think I'm with Callie a little bit here that this page in general gives off the grape vibes. We got Doug kind of peeking in the window, following her around to her classes. Now he's breaking into the mansion to be like, come to me with this private school. You went there. That's why I'm going there. And then he's like pawing at her and she's like scared. There's a little bit of like, is Doug getting more training from Professor X than any of them?
Apparently, he's totally like, clearly the reason he's not going to this school and he's going to the Massachusetts Academy is because Professor X has already taught him everything. He's creeping through windows, getting handsy. Yeah, he's
Well, that's all it here. Let's check into the last little comments from the chat here. Looks like people are remembering that issue and how it kind of tied in to last time. So hopefully it'll be as enjoyable to get the other half of that. Jackson says, it reminds him of $6 Million Man and the Bionic Woman. A Flash connection there. So let's wrap it up by giving our grade CGC style. Justin, how are you grading issue 14 of New Mutants?
Yeah, so I think in a lot of ways, I guess you wouldn't call it a filler because there's obviously a lot of tying into the background or build up to the story of Magic. I just find myself loving these issues. Anytime that we're seeing the team and getting the little bits of like the inside jokes or the jealousy issues or just the growth within the team, like, I don't know, just obviously just makes the issue so much more fun. So yes, there's definitely some questionable storylines or plot holes that are, like this whole everything with Sim. I'm just kind of like, what was the whole point of that to begin with? That whole ordeal. So that, maybe draws back a little bit. Really enjoyed the artwork we talked about before. Even just the connection pieces with, things with Doug Ramsey moving forward from things that we read for 180. And even the big one that we talked about earlier with Magic issue number 3, that tying in and just seeing those, like for me, like, oh, that just made it so much cooler to kind of go back and see that stuff. So I'm still going to put this pretty high up there. I'm going to go with a 9.2 for this because even with the plot holes, the plot, missing gaps and stuff like that, I still really enjoyed it for all the other smaller parts to what we learned with our characters, and especially Magic, and just getting more of a glimpse of the accuracy of her, being stunned, of like still being in the trauma that she's been dealing with, and how accurate that should be. That she should be, having a difficult time joining in with the kids and having fun and throwing snowballs. She should be struggling with all that stuff. And so very much so. So I'm going to go up there with this one I'll go 9.2.
All right, JP, how about yourself? I know you're getting into the New Mutants, but I know you're a Magic fan. We got a lot of her in this.
Well, I mean, I say that I'm a Magic fan, but like, I should be clear. I haven't read very much Magic. She's just the only one that I know at all. So for me, this was a nice, like other than reading along with you guys to the Magic miniseries, like I really don't. That's the most like concentrated Magic I've ever gotten. I thought this was, notwithstanding some weird storyline stuff, although I embrace the fact that they kept the volcano in the car in the living room in the finale page.
It didn't just
in the finale that they didn't like just watch over. Well, that didn't happen, right? They stuck with that. But I really enjoyed the fact that it was told from her perspective in terms of she's giving the narration. That you see her struggling to connect with just people and being back in the real world and like understanding what her place is. The fact that like she does initially like just go into shock when Sim shows up, like this reminder of, and then the fact that she's hiding, what she can actually do now. Like everybody just thinks she just has teleportation mutant powers, and it's like, no, that's like the minor thing that I can do now. That's very small on the list. And so from a Magic perspective, I thought it was really good. from a team perspective, I mean, I like the fun interactions and some of the conversations. Boy, they're not really much of a team just yet, though. Like the instant they like face a challenge, it's just charge in. The leader just charges in, the one that's supposed to be the leader. And I realize you guys talked about like that's what his power is, but like he doesn't give any like instruction. He just like charges in, and then the rest just follow him. And like finally, Danny's like, "Hey, Amara, we need to work together." And so, and then, but they don't really. Danny distracts him, and then Amara tries to trap him. But it's even then, it's a little disjointed in what they're doing. But overall, the art was good. I thought the magic storyline itself was really well handled. I would go like 9.0, 9.2, like where Justin is at. I think that's a solid place for this book. It's a good book. It's a solid story. I think it does a great job of tying into other stuff that's going on. And yeah, I thought it was great.
Yeah, that's absolutely where I'm at too. Bobby says Doug's excited to go to the Hellfire School because the ladies walking around in their underwear.
One lady walks around in their underwear for sure.
One in particular for sure. Absolutely. Jackson says Doug's being creepy. Professor says, "My boy."
Yeah, he's like rooting him on. I knew I liked you from
my boy,
Doug. Bobby says 9.4 Snow White pages.
Yeah,
all right, there you go.
A lot of grades in there.
Jackson says, my X-Men, you're back. Now all of you clean up this mess.
Yeah.
Matt and Clemson's giving it a 9.4. Enjoyed it enough to read through it twice. Can't explain why, but it's thumbs up from me for sure. All right. Magic joins the team. Yep. 9.2 from Jackson. Candace says, yeah, they don't know how to work together yet. They just throw themselves at the bad guy and see if it works.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fair.
It's accurate. It's still very early.
When you're learning from Professor X,
too.
That's learning in question.
They put a teenager in charge at this point. It's still a question mark, right? I was gonna give it a 9.0. I love the Justin shared that image from Magic and Ileana because that now for me that like adds another piece. So I'll go 9.2 with you guys.
Yeah.
I think this is definitely an entertaining, fun issue, even when they're doing silly, stupid things. When you're like, come on, Rain. You're a dog. Like,
come on.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Come on, find a way to help, and that's not it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I could still laugh at it and pawn it off as like childhood flaw, like they don't know what they're doing, so they're just trying to help. And
Rain is the youngest.
Exactly. So I'm about the same as you guys. Adam says, "Hey, Magic, can you teleport that car back out there? Can you teleport the volcano outside? Can you teleport us back to the mall?" There you go. Lots to think about.
I do find it funny that they were like, you wonder if they'd actually like talked to Magic and understood what her abilities were. Clearly they hadn't, because they're like, we need to borrow her car, when Magic could have just been like, let's go to the mall.
Right. Leave a giant flaming circle in the center
in the
of the
parking
mall.
lot. The mall got destroyed by a robot like a month ago. So
it's true. It's true. They're like, yeah, damn it, the New Mutants are back again. Well, let's look at the numbers here. A 9.8 of this book has a fair market value of $325, but a 9.6 has 75. There's a little off-putting something or other there. Take those 9.6 folks, get them pressed, cleaned, reslabbed. You might make some money off of those. But all told, between the two, there's about 600 copies floating around in the 9.8, 9.6. So there's lots of options out there for you. The key, obviously, being Ileana joins the New Mutants. She also displays her new powers. So I think to the point that I think Justin and JP were making earlier, like, does this feel like a filler? And for me, the answer is no. It's really just designed for the New Mutant reader who did not read that miniseries, Ileana and Storm. Mm-hmm. They're now getting that information in a truncated, kind of simplified sort of way. Yep. And that's ultimately the function it's serving, is for the ongoing reader who did not pick up Storm and Ileana. And I think that in that way it works, and it doesn't feel like a filler. It's just a way of keeping everybody up on what's going on as the new characters are being added in. And it works for me. I prefer the miniseries in conjunction with it, but I get the functionality to what it's going on here. So yeah, any thoughts here on the information you guys got here? Anything you want to share?
I know a lot of people consider this technically there's a lot of confusion in Ileana's first appearances and all that kind of stuff, because she technically shows up in giant size as a little kid, and
that's right.
She shows up multiple times. A lot of people refer to this as the first as Magic, even though the miniseries exists, which her becoming Magic. So it's a lot of weird stuff. But I know this is kind of that's why that 9.8 has the value it does, is because a lot of people consider it kind of her first as magic or whatever as a key sort of thing.
Sorry, I'll take this down so you guys can actually see the price there. Yeah, it's the 9.8 is $325.
It's a big
one of the few early New Mutants books that has that kind of value. So
right.
Oh yeah.
And that's why, because a lot of people consider it kind of that for her.
Yeah, and now like that we've really read through all these, like I don't think it's. I mean, yeah, like I would prefer having the Magic series, and I mean, she clearly is magic in by at least by the fourth issue of that miniseries. So it is really strange. I mean, I guess I don't know if maybe that's just for people who are not reading the books that they deem this
I think it comes down to like when in the miniseries do you consider her to have become magic, whereas this is like a line where she's introduced into the New Mutants in the main.
Yeah,
I think that's why
technically 4 is not out yet. Yeah, that's true. Technically 4 is not out yet too.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, so it went 3 and then this and then 4.
This, yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's how that laid out.
All right, well, I'm gonna stop sharing here. Justin, did you have any thoughts before I close this out?
Just that I agreed. I mean the 9.6. I wouldn't mind having this in at least a 9.6, and then I mean if you can get the bump, that's great. But
buy a few, press clean them, you win one and you win them all.
Yeah. And earlier was it Callie who said he owned like 110 copies?
I think he's making a joke.
Okay, because
I'm trying to get a Gem 10.
Because I was like,
he's trying to get that 10.0. Send him your copies. And
I just thought it's cool if you do love that book, this book that much. That's pretty cool.
I have 5 9.6s if you need one.
I'm not joking. He has 118. That's amazing. I love that you love this.
Wow. He has literally 118, John. Holy
This is one that I wouldn't mind having a copy of, but I have not gotten a copy of yet.
5 9.6s. He's like, you get a 9.6 and you get a 9.6.
Yeah. Good stuff, Kelly.
What is going on, sir? Let's see. Pisanat dog? Pisanat.org. Pisanat.
Lasso being a hater. Just being a troll.
Yeah. All right. That figures. That's about right. So let's stop sharing this and let's get into the trivia. We are now at the end of the show. We're looking back at questions regarding issue 13 when we were over on Justin's channel last time, which is hopefully why you've subscribed and hit the notification bell, because January 7th, when we come back from vacay, we're on his channel and we're going to be looking at the next part in this saga. So we've got 4 questions based on the previous issue. We're looking for the first 2 correct answers, and then we're looking for someone who can make JP laugh, making fun of Professor X, making fun of Cyclops. Have your laughs, have your shots, take them now. You want to get onto the raffle list here, because at the end of the season, we're giving away all kinds of goodies. We're giving away comics, we're giving away trades, we're giving away original artwork. So,
Allie.
He's
trying to get a 0.5 through 9.8.
He's trying to get every single level of CGC. He has
That's awesome.
He's just like sitting on books in his living room and swishing them around a little bit. I got to get that 0.5.
I respect it.
Crumble, straighten it out.
Yikes. I did not realize. I'm learning a lot about John tonight.
It took me forever to get that 3.0.
So we're gonna kick it with Justin first. He's gonna ask our first question of the night. Justin, what do you got for us?
All right, yeah. So remember, these are based off of New Mutants issue number 13 from last episode. My first question is, what was Roberto's solution for grilling or doing food chores, as it was also put? What was his solution to all that? Anyone else? Anyone else? Yeah, what was Roberto's solution for grilling?
I'll give him a clue. It's Justin's solution. That's
right.
John says it's rough out there for Magic fans.
I'm gonna try to out collect Callie now. That might be a goal of mine. Try to get that 119.
Right. That's fair. That's fair. He says, have Cyclops nuke it with his visor, then make fun of how lame it is. Or he is, I should say. Let's see. His solution was to punch something. This
week.
Yeah. He's gonna make magma cook it. He's gonna avoid food poisoning.
You're not far off. You're not too far off.
Let's see. Do you see any correct answers yet, Justin?
I was gonna go with. I mean, it's not exactly what I was
going for.
Looking
for. Bobby's close, but he's not quite. But
yeah. Like, I mean, if I'm gonna give it to them. I'm gonna go with Bobby, and I'm gonna go with Conlon ordering out. My answer, or the answer I was looking for, was ordering pizza or Chinese food. To be more specific, but essentially ordering out, doing takeout, not cooking. That's for sure. But that was a great scene. If everybody missed that, that was fun. So
sadly, there's no Chet to copy, so you're struggling now. Also, possible answer is he's just wearing a chef's hat. Just wear a chef's hat. That makes everything better.
You're official.
JP, did you have a comedy answer that you liked there?
I actually like Callie's comment. Is like, hey, man, cook this. Just be like, hey, new girl, get over
here. Yeah, new girl.
Use your powers. I actually kind of like that.
All right, Callie Comics getting on the board here. There it is. All right. So my first question of the night. We got some exciting fun as we've been getting this whole season with Stevie Hunter. My question is about Stevie. Aside from teaching ballet, what other skill does Stevie Hunter demonstrate in this issue? So we get to see Stevie Hunter, obviously ballet dancer, ballet teacher, but what else does she demonstrate a skill at performing in this issue?
I'm trying to remember this now, and I watched last week.
Oh, jeez. Wow. We're starting strong. Starting strong.
Shopping.
If you get magic, if you get Jackson Roy Kirk to scream your name in shock and awe, you did something right. He's like, Lasso, my God, holy cow. Nobody can even put in answers. They're too busy laughing at that. What's going on, Cap Collectibles? Good to see you, sir. Wait, whose channel are we on?
Yeah.
You don't know. I will say there's one correct answer. I'll go back to some of the comedy answers, like using the pimp cane. That's a great one. I'm not going to highlight Lassos, but he might be a winner this tonight. It's really funny. Braiding hair. She's braiding hair. Somebody could copy and paste because there is one correct answer.
And John has not highlighted it, so
I have definitely not highlighted it.
And it's not by Lasso.
Definitely not by Lasso. I even made myself laugh.
I think Matt got it.
Matt got it. Yes, Matt in Clemson is correct. She runs the danger room for an experiment that Xavier doesn't apparently have the interest in doing. So Conlon and Matt in Clemson. Yeah, she runs the machinery in the danger room. So operating the danger room. Yeah, all accounts. All right, JP.
I mean, I would like to go somewhere else and say that I'm like more mature, but no.
Lasso gets the point.
He's like,
got everybody. He got everybody. Sorry, I think Lasso's answer now tops sandwiches and Rachel dinners. All right, last question from Justin.
Yes. What were Doug Ramsey? Oh God, what were Doug Ramsey and Kitty Pryde doing together last issue? I should clarify this before they went downstairs to eat. What were they doing? What were they doing upstairs? Doug Ramsey and Kitty Pryde. What were they doing together?
That's the answer, right? That's the answer.
And we all
just keep using the same answer.
We all wait for Ryan's answer.
Just keep giving the same answer.
I think I come up with this stuff.
He says they were not stirring the spaghetti sauce. They were not. And Bobby just adds a question mark there. Oh, I guess. This is out of control. Out of control. Wait, no Diana Ross question after she was on the show?
Well, we haven't had all the questions yet.
I've got one more question, but it's not about that.
Come on.
We haven't had a question about John's ranch yet, so.
They were making out in Aurora's attic.
Yeah,
just getting at it.
It's a good one.
I don't know. Do you see any answers you like, JP?
For a funny one?
No, were they playing Beyblades? They were playing Beyblades. I think I see Justin. I think we have one correct answer.
There is one correct answer, I think.
That seems close enough.
But yeah. And then,
I get there's two more accurate answers now, I guess.
Yeah.
What do you like, Justin?
One of them's by the same person had the first one. So,
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna. Yep. Yeah. So Adam and Conlon.
Okay, Adam and Conlon.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, I essentially put hacking or accessing the government system or
which for me, I was gonna get this. This fits that answer. The war games that they even joke it's like, would you like to play a game?
Right. So yeah,
he was full. He was swollen, and she was full of pride. All right, JP, who's got the comedy going this time?
I'm actually gonna go with Matt and we all wait for Ryan.
Yeah.
That's a good call, Matt.
I feel like given what happened a minute ago, I feel like that's the most appropriate. We all wait for Ryan.
Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, tell me what you're drinking tonight, Lazo. There it is. All right, last question of the night is mine. I'm looking for two correct words here. In Xavier's own words, has he ever failed a student?
There better be some serious comedy here.
Yeah.
Come on.
Looking for two.
He is asked point blank the question, have you ever failed a student? And he gives a 2-word answer that I thought was phenomenal, and I made sure to comment and repeat. So what is his 2-word answer? It's not Diana and Ross.
No.
It's not. It's a strange answer to that question. Not ever? Question mark. Hell no. Not yet. Just like
Gally.
B and J. Come on. Of course.
All the time.
Not yet. Again. Well, yeah. Don't ask. These are better than so far. There's not a single correct answer. These are hilarious.
Yeah.
Sorry. 100 demerits. Oh my gosh. All right. So far, no correct answers. JP, do you have a winner on the comedy side?
Just Cyclops.
I was ready for you.
You knew that's where I was going.
I'll give a couple more seconds. If anybody gets any correct answers, I'll reveal the 2-word correct answer at the end here. But I want to remind everybody that, we're taking 2 weeks off. And we're going to be back on Justin's channel on January 7th. We're going to be having, Colossus Collector Ryan, joining us to talk about the next issue 15 of the New Mutants run. In between, if you want to read issue 180, refresh, all that good stuff, the Ileana and Magic Storm miniseries, any of that kind of stuff, certainly you can to catch up. A huge thank you to JP for coming back and getting a largely Cyclops free issue to enjoy tonight.
No Cyclops. There's always, I'm always down for any X-Men that doesn't involve that guy. Now we can just get Chuck out of the picture.
Yeah, you got it.
That's the next step.
Get
rid of both of them, and then we would be good.
Yeah.
I believe it's just it's a 2. It's a double. You're right. It's a 15 and 16. It's 15 and 16. Yeah, the next few are doubles again. 15, 16, and 17,
man, I almost going to change my comedy to give Adam for Adam
Thunderbird is also a good one. Every issue.
I think that's if nobody's going to get the real point, I think you can give a second comedy.
That's fair. Yeah.
This is the correct answer. If anybody doesn't remember, it's
oh
yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. He freely admits. He says, "Oh yes."
Oh,
doesn't
all right, so because he likes the every issue answer, I'll give Adam another point, and because there were no correct answers, we'll throw another point Adam's way. Thank you everybody for joining us tonight. I want to remind everyone that our friend Geeked Out from Rosko is donating original artwork, and half his commission went to support Jen from Comics Will Break Your Heart. Yeah. So his link is down below, and you can win a 2-sided sketch cover made by him for the end of the season. just by getting on this list here. Clemson's asking his total. He's at 8 points in the runnings here. So sometimes you just need the one when it comes to those giveaways.
That is true.
I hope everyone has an incredible happy holidays. Christmas Day is also the first day of Hanukkah, so a lot of fun things aligning this year on the calendar. So whatever you're celebrating, I really hope that that you're having some good time with friends and family, and we are looking forward to our break, but of course looking forward to coming back and diving into more New Mutants with you guys all here soon.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Hey, it's new comic book day too, technically.
Yes.
Wednesday.
Yes,
all of it in one day.
On Christmas Day and New Year's Day, it's new comic book day the next 2 Wednesdays.
A lot of celebration.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Have a great night, and we'll see you guys again in a few weeks.
Bye.